Hi, it's Richard Moore from Racing Profits Guides, and we're at Nottingham Racecourse with Andrew Mullen, and we're just going to talk a little bit about Andrew's career to date and also riding here at Nottingham, and then move on to Leicester as well, talk a little bit about riding at Leicester. Nice to see you again today, Andrew.
Yeah,
sun's out at last.
Yeah, it's a nice day today.
Nice day after the weather we've had. So just tell us a bit about your career to date then. What got you into riding in the first place?
I just fell into it really.
Yeah.
Just went to the racing school and then it just went from there really.
Yeah.
And,
had you been riding before that then?
No, I never rode before then, and to be honest, I just entertained it and I just really enjoyed it, so
yeah,
it was good.
And how long ago was that then?
I think I was about just coming up for 18, I think.
18 at the time?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you've slowly done, obviously you did your apprentice. Who were you with for your apprentice?
I was Kevin Ryan.
You were at Kevin Ryan's?
Yeah.
And how long were you at Kevin's?
I was there a good 4 years,
Yeah.
I think.
And then obviously you're known more as Mick Appleby's stable jockey now. How did you meet Mick? Was it sort of something?
Through my agent really. My agent asked me if I would go and gallop some horses for him, and I went down and done that, and just went from there. Just not looked back since.
So how long's that been that you've been with Mick?
I think it's just a year gone by now. So
yeah, you've had plenty of success. You've had some nice winners over the year.
Yeah, I think we've had I've rode them about 70 winners in about a year, I think.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. And other people that you ride for, because Mick does let you ride for other people as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, you have to keep your contacts open. Where you can't just ride for one person. You need to be riding for as many trainers and owners as you can, really.
Yeah, to keep your experience going. And what other trainers do you ride for then?
Well, a bit for George Moore, Alan Swinbank, David O'Meara, and David Barron. There's a wide range. I've got my agent does a real good job really, because this time of year you don't really get time to ride out because the racing's early and it finishes, it's dark, and you just
since the clocks have gone back,
you just have to rely on your agent to get your spares, and then if you click with the trainer you're riding for, they'll use you again. So.
Yeah. And what's your favourite? Staying up north then? Do you really ride the northern tracks more than the southern tracks? Or
this year I've been mainly down south and the Midlands,
which
is a lot of travelling and away
where
from
do you
home.
live? You live up at Bedale way, don't you?
Yeah, I live near Bedale, which so the closest all-weather to me is 100 miles away, and that's Southall.
Southall, yeah.
Wolverhampton, then Lingfield and Kempton's just.
So it's a lot of driving.
It's a lot of driving, but I think it has paid off this year. I am really happy with the season.
So what would your nearest tracks be then? Catterick and up that way?
Catterick's 7 miles from my house. But
is it? You don't get as many
I was
rides.
I was there yesterday, and then for the Wolverhampton at night, so you have to drive past your door to go to Wolverhampton.
Yeah, and through the winter months, obviously we're in October now, so we're coming into the winter, so you do continue right through the winter on the all-weather as well, don't you?
Yeah, I'll have a little holiday, take the kids and the wife away, and then come back and just get back to it. We'll keep going on the all-weather, and we've got a good bunch of horses for the all-weather, and they've pumped a lot of money into the all-weather, so we're keeping some of the grass horses in
training for the all-weather. This championships are running.
The championship, where there's a lot of prize money to be had.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute then. That's great. That's just a bit on your career. Now we'll go on to some of the courses that you ride then.
Yeah.
Right, Andrew, let's talk a little bit about Leicester Racecourse. Obviously they do flat and jumps there, but through the flat season, how do you find Leicester rides? Very different to Nottingham, is it? Yeah,
it is. You're running downhill for the first 2.5 furlongs until you hit into the dip. Depends how far you're running over. And it is more of a test at Leicester, I always find.
It's very undulating, isn't it? Very undulating.
And then you've got the climb as well up to the line, which if your horse needs to be, you need the horse that can gallop all the way to the line there. If you leave it short, you're not going to get home.
You won't get home, no. So the 7 furlong, 6 furlong and 5 furlong starts are all on that downhill section, are they?
That's right. It's a straight 5, 6 and 7, which is ideal. You just they normally just come up the middle again at Leicester, unless it gets real soft and then they come stand side.
Yeah.
But
it depends on the conditions.
Yeah.
So you'd make that judgment when you walk it, would it?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
But what you jump and you're straight down a hill, then you're straight down, and then you're into a dip, and then you're climbing all the way then to the line.
So it's a bit like Lingfield, very sharp that first bit, then quite quick.
Well, I wouldn't say it was like Lingfield. You just know that you're trapping along early on, and you need, like, especially if your horse is unexperienced, you could get lost for the first half of the race, but if your horse is good enough, you will find it back at the end.
And then you hit the dip
Yeah.
at the lowest point and then start climbing to the line.
You do see a lot of horses outpaced and struggling to find the legs, and then they hit the rising ground, and then off they go, they pick up, and
then it sort of levels off.
Yeah.
You said just about half a furlong from the
about
finish.
a furlong,
About a furlong from the
Yeah.
finish. Yeah, so you need to make sure you've saved plenty of horse under you, do you, for that climb?
Yeah, but you need to make sure you're up there as well, because you don't want to get left too far behind, because you'll never make it back up.
So would you say that you can't really hold up your horse there? You've got to always be up with the pace, have you?
No, I think a lot of the horses do come from behind, because horses go too hard early on
And then they
fall
start
at
dropping
home.
back. Yeah.
You need a gutsy horse for Leicester, I would say.
Yeah. And what about the further trips, the longer trips? Obviously it's right-handed as well, isn't it, Leicester?
Right-handed, so
does that make a difference to the type of horse that does well there, or?
I don't know. They all have to go around the same track, so I think you do get horses that don't like going right-handed or left-handed. So
Yeah.
it's just
Some horses may have a preference.
well, the trainers would know themselves. They would run them a couple of times and say, well, it doesn't really handle going right-handed, let's keep it left-handed. So we can only say to them that we don't think it goes that way, and then it's up to them then to run them.
So it's quite a long back straight at Leicester, isn't it? Quite a...
Yeah, it's quite undulation as well, and it runs down at the back. It's where you jump off at the 1.25 miles. It runs down. It's quite a tricky little course, actually.
Is it?
Yeah.
So the 1.4 starts at the top of the back straight.
Yeah.
That's like a small spur off there, and then you've got your 1.2 halfway down and your mile down there
Yeah,
as well.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they sweep up. How are the bends there? Do they ride
Yeah,
well?
they
Or
do.
they like
No,
gear?
they do. They ride well, and
So they're not too tight.
not too tight. But I do say in the mile race, in the 1.25 miles, you would want to be getting a better draw nearer the rail than being stuck out wide and getting stuck around that bend out wide.
On the 1.25 miles?
Yeah.
Yeah, so is there any other sort of draw bias that you think? What about the sprint side? Do you
To be honest,
you come down the middle nearly all the time, do they there?
Mostly they do, and it's just where the pace is. If you've got speedy horses around you and them sprints, they'll take you, and it's up to you then to...
So you're just trying to judge the pace of the race, really? are you?
Yeah, that's right.
So there's no advantage to being on the stands rail or anything like that?
Well, it just depends what the ground's like. If it's really, really soft, I do think sometimes to just go to the stand side, but this year I've been watching it a bit more and been involved a lot more at Leicester. We've just really came down the middle.
Right.
So,
And is that more the older horses again? Like we talked about the younger horses here. How would you find a 2-year-old that handle Leicester? Is it a real learning curve for them?
The thing is, you need to be. They need to jump. They need to know their job a lot more at Leicester, because they jump and you're running downhill. And a lot of 2-year-olds, unexperienced, when they're under pressure, they're losing the legs going down that hill and into the dip. But if they're any good, they'll find the legs on their way back up the hill, and that's when the race always changes in the last furlong and a half there. So.
Yeah, I've noticed that when I've been there. I've seen that the whole complexion of a race can change in that last furlong, can't it?
You think you're home and hose, and then it just hits a brick wall.
Yeah. And who else rides well at Leicester, do you think, as the other jockeys you ride against?
To be honest, I just think there's no hard luck stories with the horses. If you ride your horse well, I think it'll win.
But it just needs that bit more stamina.
Yeah, there's no jockey that sticks out in my mind that it would ride a course Leicester better than the next jockey, I think. If the jockey's on the right horse, I think he'll win.
He will, yeah, lovely. And let's think about anything else to do with Leicester that we can think about. So we've talked about the draw bias. Older horses, you think, they're, by that time they've got some experience under the belt, so they handle Leicester pretty well.
Yeah, I think the older horses, you don't even think about coming down the hill, because they jump, they know their job, and it's up to you then to judge the pace and make sure they get home.
That's more your job when you're riding there. Yeah, lovely. Well, thanks for your time on Leicester. That's great.